Welcome to Finesse Philosophy. We up here at New Face Barbershop, located at 301 Veterans Memorial Highway in Mableton. That's 30126 zip code. And I'm with Mr. King Shake, aka Mr. POC, Finesse the Best himself.
That's right.
And we're here to just share a few things as far as our philosophies are concerned. First things first, tell us a little bit about your background and how you found yourself within the hair and grooming industry.
Let's see. Well, first off, I am King Shake. You know what I'm saying? I am 28, and I've been cutting hair be like 7 or 8. Then I started when I was like 21. So like 7, 8 years I've been cutting. And what made me get into the hair industry is that, I've always been infatuated with hair even since I was a young guy, you know what I'm saying? One of the stupidest things I ever did was try to give my sister a hairline, you know what I mean? So I was really infatuated with hair. You know what I'm saying? I always wanted some kind of hair on my head or something. You know what I'm saying? So it just started to carry over, growing up, I felt like I was a pretty boy. So I was always in the barbershop. I was always, trying to keep my look fresh. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I kind of just started, adapting to the barbershop scene. You coming in, you got the old guys, they playing chess, you know what I'm saying? You got the barbers, they in there chopping, and if they chopping good, you know what I'm saying? The whole atmosphere is like, it's a real good atmosphere. A lot of people say, you know what I'm saying? When you get a haircut, you feel like different about yourself, you feel better about yourself, so it was like the atmosphere was always good, you know what I'm saying? So that really is one of the things that really like kind of got me wanting to cut hair. You know what I mean? I just started cutting my brother hair. I started cutting, like I said, my sister hair. I started cutting my own hair. Then after a while, I started cutting some of my homeboys' hair. My main focus in school was music and sports, or music and football. But, you know what I'm saying, on the side, I was still, cutting hair. Like, even when I went off to college, I was making, $5, $10, $15, $20 here and there, trying to, keep a little something in my pocket. And I'd be cutting people in the dorm room hair, you know what I'm saying? So I've always been really infatuated with it. Even when I didn't know that I was infatuated with it, it was just always something about hair that always kind of attracted me to it. So,
Well, that's very interesting because, you talked about your background, and I'm sure that probably molded you into the individual that you are today, which is actually a great segue for our next question, because I want to know who were some of your major influences, and if you could just tell us a little bit about what inspired you or who inspired you to want to cut hair.
growing up, you know what I'm saying, I always paid attention to Black history. And one of the most interesting people I used to think about in Black history was one of the two most interesting people I thought were interesting to me growing up was number one, Madam C.J. Walker, the first Black female millionaire through the hair industry. I thought that was like one of the most amazing things I've ever heard in my life. Like, you know what I'm saying? You made $1 million, you know what I'm saying, creating products and creating looks and styles for, you know what I'm saying, in Black individuals. And, you know what I'm saying? Another person that also just always caught my ear was Alonzo Herndon. You know what I'm saying?
Make sure they hear that real good.
The city of Atlanta.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Growing up here, you know what I'm saying, you always hear about Herndon Homes. When I was coming up, Herndon Homes was always a big thing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people from Herndon Homes. That's where it's real at. From, you know what I mean? There's a lot of other areas, but we talking about Herndon Homes right now. So Alonzo Herndon, he was also a millionaire barber. You know what I'm saying? And what he started doing was starting to take his money and investments and, and putting them back into the community. The thing that amazed me about him is that his clientele was mostly Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? And mostly like public figures throughout the city at the time. You know what I'm saying? So what he did was like kind of took from, you know what I'm saying, those people who were actually figures in the city and started building his community. And I thought that was amazing too, that one man could actually really take what he does for a living and actually start to improve his surroundings. You know what I'm saying? And that those are some of the people who influenced me. One thing that did influence me about cutting hair is the fact that, you know what I'm saying, it's like your own business. You know what I mean? I always wanted to be a businessman. I used to want to be a corporate businessman, but you know, as I grew a little older, I didn't necessarily want the same things. You know what I mean? But I did always want to work for myself. You know what I'm saying? I felt like this is one of the most flexible businesses that you can be in, based on how you do. Based on how you do with your clientele and your customers, you can work whenever you want to work. And I felt like that was amazing because I just really like to do what I like to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a person that's going to follow anybody off of a cliff. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to march to the beat of my own drum. So I always like that idea. Um, you know what I'm saying? But those are some of the things and some of the people that actually influenced me to get into the business. And of course, you know what I'm saying, you know, that compounded with my infatuation with hair, it just made it like it's just a job that I love to do. You know what I'm saying? And when you're doing something that you love to do, you're not necessarily working. You're actually doing what you love to do. You know what I'm saying? No matter if it has a monetary value or not. You know what I'm saying? You're doing exactly what you love to do. And that's, you know what I'm saying, the greatest work that could ever be done. So, yeah.
Okay, so we're
Right.
back.
Right.
And as we mentioned earlier, this is Finesse Philosophy.
Right.
Finesse Philosophy
That's
is an
right.
extension of the entity Finesse Cuts. Now we're here to ask King Shake himself,
Right.
what is Finesse Cuts? Can you tell me more about Finesse Cuts and what Finesse Cuts means to you?
So, finesse cuts. First, let's go ahead. Let's break down finesse philosophy. Right. See, finesse philosophy comes from me having an understanding of who I am as a person. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that I'm just a firm believer in horoscopes and all of that, but I'm a Sagittarius male, and we think about things a little bit more philosophical than the next person would. Not throwing no shade at nobody or nothing like that, but we always have some type of theory or something that goes to whatever. I have a theory into how I eat my chips. I have a theory in how I cook my eggs. I have a theory for how I take my shower. I have a theory. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me. I'm a philosophical person. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to thinking. You know what I'm saying? So basically, this is not necessarily a textbook um, a textbook type of understanding that I'm giving you. Is more of a life understanding that I give. Finesse is also something that I like because finesse is it caters to the behavior of doing something with a certain level of style, a certain level of you know what I'm saying, panache. You know what I'm saying? It's just a different swagger that you have. You know what I'm saying? Finesse is, you know what I mean, it has something uh, has has a posh. It appeals to a more posh crowd. You know what I'm saying? Those who, you know what I'm saying, sip their tea with their pinky up. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you know what I mean, that just kind of caters to the behavior that we use as someone who brings finesse to you know what I'm saying, people around us. We're the type of people, when I finesse, you know what I'm saying, when you finesse, you as a person, when you finesse, what you're doing is changing the environment around you to better suit you. And that's exactly what we do, you know what I'm saying? When I cut your hair, you leaving, you know what I'm saying? Somebody walking up to you and asking you who cut your hair. Where did you get your hair cut? You know what I'm saying? Basically, the environment has changed because you applied the game changer. You know what I'm saying? The man who holds game changer is the man who finesses on the regular. And that's what we do. We're about finesse. We're about coming out here and doing things with a certain posh, you know what I'm saying, understanding to life. And that's what finesse philosophy is. Finesse cuts is the same exact thing. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about finesse cuts, the cuts have been done with a certain type of understanding and love and passion that cannot be applied by the next person. That's why we finesse. You know what I'm saying? When you come in our chair, we blessing you. You know why? We blessing you with the ability to go and change your environment. And a wise man once told me, and this was my father, he told me, you never want to be a product of your environment. You always want your environment to be a product of you. And that's what we do. We apply the game changer so that the environment becomes a product of who you are. Image to the world is everything. So what we do is create an acceptable and almost overachieving image for you to go out and conquer the world. You know what I'm saying? And that's finesse cuts, and that's finesse philosophy in a nutshell.
Thank you.
Hold it down for this king shit. Fine chick, fly whip, fresh fit, fly shit. Tell the ratchet hoes I said bye, bitch. And no bum hoes on my line, bitch. I keep a pretty woman on my arm to only respond to your highness. Please excuse the time restraints, everything I do is timeless. But I hope you know I'm kingly way before my fucking time is. They call me king shape, king shit. Where the fuck did you find him? Who fucking with me in a fucking city? Turn the goals into them diamonds.